to go ahead and go to our first guest, Rebecca Clower. She is a broker-owner of Blue Water Properties of Costa Rica. She is also a licensed Florida realtor and vice president for the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors. She is also a certified international property specialist and international investor and resident of Costa Rica. She worked as a successful real estate agent with RE/MAX in Costa Rica before starting her own real estate and travel tour agency. She was the featured realtor on several episodes of HGTV Canada's new show called Live Here, Buy This, and HGTV USA House Hunters International. Rebecca has also been nominated as one of the top 100 realtors in Costa Rica by the VIP members of WeLoveCostaRica.com and is a contributing writer for the site too as well. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
Rebecca, I'm very interested in learning more about real estate overseas and how it compares to real estate practices here in Florida. Now, you've actually began your career in real estate here in the States before relocating to Costa Rica. Tell me a little bit more about your time you spent as a real estate professional here in Florida and the success you had in that, and also why you decided to relocate from our beautiful state to Costa Rica.
For sure. Well, I started working I moved to Florida actually in May of 2000 and started working in real estate about 2 years after that and got into the renovation and rehabbing, wholesaling type of thing over there, and basically worked for an independent with actually a co-worker of yours, Christina. I knew her as Christina Courier, but Christina Griffin.
Right.
We worked together there for quite a few years and basically started out doing the renovations over the course of about 5 years. I would say we did about 40 homes.
Now, you were doing this in the early 2000s when that was a very profitable and explosive industry.
Exactly. Obviously, times changed. So, yeah, basically in about 2002 is when we started renovating homes and did that for several years. I got my license in 2003 and started hopping over to the residential side because obviously there was a need after you renovated a home that you had to sell it to a retail buyer. So that's basically how I got going in Tampa. And we did very much focus in the areas of Seminole Heights and Tampa Heights when those areas were up and coming. So basically between 2002 to 2006, which is when I came over to Costa Rica.
You came over to Costa Rica in 2006?
You got it.
Gotcha. And you
right at the end of 2006, actually. So my timing was pretty good.
Yeah, you left here right as the market was really taking a downturn. That was what I always say the peak of the market in Tampa Bay was 2006, and we've lost about 50% of the value from that time. Although we've recovered about 20% of it in the last couple of years. Now, you're not originally from Florida. Where were you from originally?
Well, I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in Buffalo, New York. So obviously I needed to get out of cold places. So I moved from, I went to college in Arizona, graduated from Arizona State, and then moved out to Tampa in 2000.
Interesting.
And,
I myself from West Virginia, and I, just like you, did not like the cold weather climate. And when I was 18, I said, I'm out of here, and I picked a warm weather state for just that reason alone.
Exactly.
Now, how often do you return to Florida? Do you still practice real estate in Florida at all? Do you send referrals this way or what?
Yeah, I come back to Florida at least once a year. I still have family and friends in the Tampa area in Temple Terrace, and my parents live in Fort Lauderdale. So I come back and see everybody, of course. And in regards to selling real estate, I honestly, I'm not too involved other than occasional referral because when I left Florida, I decided to really focus my efforts 110% on Costa Rica real estate.
Interesting. Now, Rebecca, I myself have never been to Costa Rica, as I'm sure many of our listeners have not as well. Now, I'm sure you're going to tell us, about why we should be investing in Costa Rica. So let's begin with just some general information, as I really don't know much about, this area. First of all, what are the requirements for Americans to travel into and out of Costa Rica?
It's actually pretty easy. You don't need a visa, just a valid passport. You just need to make sure that you have at least 6 months left on your passport before it expires to enter the country and not have issues. But other than that, there's no other special requirements. Okay.
And where exactly is Costa Rica located? I know I was thinking that this was an island, and you corrected me, but it's in down in in South America region, right? So
No, but it's funny because so many people say, hey, how's life on the island? And I kind of, joke and say, well, if I lived on an island, I'd tell you. But, the same kind of thing applies here. It is very much like island time. But we're located in Central America between Nicaragua and Panama. And Costa Rica is actually a really great place. We have really stable government, democracy. We have no army. And so it's a great place to live.
Interesting. Yeah, no, so I learned something every day. I was thinking that was one of the Caribbean islands, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the Rica and Puerto Rico. Maybe I was just associating
People get that confused all the time, all the time.
Thanks for making me not feel so dumb, So there's other people out there, without misconception as well. So what is the local currency? Is U.S. dollars traded there, or is there a separate form of currency that's used there?
Yeah, the local currency is called the colon, or colones, plural, actually named after Christopher Columbus. But U.S. dollars are widely accepted here, and in fact, real estate is almost always quoted and sold in U.S. dollars. Mm-hmm. It's just the reason being is because the U.S. dollar is more stable than the local currency.
And how prominent is the English language in the country?
Rather prominent in the beach areas that I service, and the areas where there's lots of expats, including around the capital of the country, which is San Jose. There are also many people, I think you're wondering about if people can get by also without actually speaking Spanish, and a lot of people do. But I do like to mention that as someone who speaks Spanish fluently, that I always try to encourage my clients to at least try and learn some basic Spanish, because it'll make your life a little easier. Although body language does go a long way here. So. Gotcha.
Now, did you learn Spanish before relocating, or have you always been a Spanish speaker?
I've always been a Spanish speaker because my mom is from Costa Rica. Oh. Shocking. So, and my dad's from Chicago, but I grew up speaking Spanish. My mom was a stay-at-home mom at the beginning and always spoke Spanish to me, and I thank God for it now, but I never thought in a million years that I would be down here and selling real estate and doing what I do. So I really do appreciate that she spoke to me in Spanish now.
It's a great skill to have. It's something, I wish that I had, working in the business that I do. But no, I've never I took 2 years of it in high school, and I've had a Spanish girlfriend that I dated for 12 years, and I still can't speak Spanish. So
it's hard if you don't practice it every day. And even here, 95% of my clients are English speaking. So I always make an effort of speaking Spanish with my coworkers and everybody in the office, because otherwise, you'll get through the whole day and realize you really didn't speak much Spanish at all. So I do make an effort when I'm in the office, for sure.
Now, obviously, the Caribbean weather is great, but how often do you see rain, and what's the coldest that Costa Rica gets?
In our province, which is called Guanacaste, we have a dry season from December to April, and a rainy season from May to November. Okay. And the rainy season is very much like Florida in the summer. That's what I try to tell people. So you have blue skies in the morning, which gives way to rain in the afternoon for a few hours. And our rainiest months are September and October, which are also the slowest months here for tourism, but it's also less expensive. There's less tourists around, which is a plus for some people. But in terms of the temperature, it really doesn't waver, maybe 5 or 10 degrees year-round. We're pretty much in the, mid to upper 80s, low 90s during the day, and low 70s at night. We don't really need heat here, obviously, for that reason, so it's pretty predictable.
Hi, Rebecca. This is Robert Paredes with Fifth Third Bank. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Robert?
I'm well, thank you. On a financing perspective, maybe you can share with us a little bit some of the different financing options. I don't know if it's all cash mostly that you handle on your clients. Is there some type of special financing that they can get in the United States? How does that typically work?
Before the crisis, Robert, we had more options than we do today. Unfortunately, after the crisis, the banks really tightened up here and didn't really, unless you're a resident, it's rather impossible to get financing here. So most of my transactions are cash-based. I do have a few transactions that I did this year involving IRAs, so you can purchase in an IRA over here. And I've also heard that Scotiabank is coming out with a product for Canadian clients, because we have a lot of Canadian clients that come down to Costa Rica to buy. So I'm cautiously optimistic and waiting to hear what that program is. And if Fifth Third Bank has something, that would be super, because that's the one thing that we do lack here. There's also developers that offer developer financing, private in-house, usually with around anywhere from 20 to 50% down, depending on what it is. And there's also opportunities for private owner financing as well. Now, of course, that's going to lessen the options for a buyer, but at least it is an option.
Now, Rebecca, that's some great information. I'm going to take a quick break here to hear from my sponsors, but I want to understand, coming back from the break, a little bit more about real estate customs and practices. So if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS, WHNZ. Back in a moment. Thank you to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 WINS, WHNZ. We've been talking with Rebecca Clower. She's the broker-owner of Blue Water Properties in Costa Rica. And I want to continue the conversation with her right now. Rebecca, take me through the price points for entry-level real estate up to how beachfront property works in Costa Rica.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, we basically have all sorts of different properties. I sell lots, homes, condos. I even sell farms. But generally speaking, lots start around $30,000 and go all the way up to $500,000 plus, just depending on the size of the parcel and the views. We also have Homes, generally speaking, starting around 170,000. Again, up to multi-million-dollar homes, depending on what you're looking for. That would be ocean view and oceanfront, and also condos. We sell a lot of condos as well. We have condos that start basically in the, generally speaking, in the low 100 range, all the way up to $1 million plus. Again, these can be penthouses, oceanfront. So it's kind of a wide range, but basically showing that there is something for everybody here.
Now, is property titled in Costa Rica the way it is here in the States? And are there any prominent differences in ownership rights versus how it is here in the States?
Generally speaking, yes, it's the same. Most of the properties here in Costa Rica are fee simple, fully titled. The difference is oceanfront property. 95% of the oceanfront property, what we call the Zona Marittima, it's the maritime zone, is concession, which I try to easily explain it as kind of like a land lease from the government. So you have to renew it in 20-year increments. And if you're not, you can't own it 100% by yourself. You have to have a Costa Rican citizen on title with you. But usually you get around that with your attorney.
Okay, so all beachfront property in Costa Rica is owned by the government, then you're saying?
Not all of it. 95%. There's actually in our area we have quite a few that are fully titled. If you got basically what it is if you had it titled before in the 1970s, there was a time to kind of get grandfathered in. Some people take advantage of that. So that's why 5% of the country, more so in our area, you'll find fully titled oceanfront property.
Do you get any pushback from the citizens with that, or is that pretty accepted, amongst the residents of Costa Rica?
No, it's pretty accepted because, again, it's the same for everybody. And anybody that buys here from the U.S., Canada, or beyond has the same ownership rights as any Costa Rican citizen. So that's obviously a plus, and it makes it safe purchasing here. Now,
what are the licensing requirements for sales professionals such as yourself in Costa Rica?
Believe it or not, there is no mandatory licensing. I'm the vice president of the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors. We call CRGAR. And our association is really pushing for professional licensing. And we're getting there. Right now we offer voluntary licenses, and with the voluntary licenses you're required to take several courses in regards to real estate law, condominium law, etc. So we really are pushing for that. And right now there's 2 professional organizations in Costa Rica. So, hopefully here in the future we'll be able to say that we do have professional licensing. I keep my license in Florida, even though I don't practice there that often, obviously, because it does give me credibility here in an area that doesn't have mandatory licensing. It really does mean a lot to my buyers coming from abroad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're dealing with people with, many of which are making, their most, biggest decision, biggest investment in their careers. And I even say in Florida, I mean, the licensing requirements, I think, are subpar, and in Costa Rica, where you don't even have any licensing requirements. I mean, that's a scary thing if I'm a, consumer in Costa Rica looking to purchase real estate. So, I mean, obviously, if you have a license, in the States, that's something that gives you, head up on a lot of the people that are probably practicing in Costa Rica. Do you have a lot of people practicing, real estate down there, or is it not common?
Well, there's a lot of people that practice real estate, and how many of those people take it seriously is a whole other ball of wax. But I think that people that truly call themselves professionals, it's an exclusive bunch. There really are not that many. Those that are good are good, and we really, like I said before, trying to push for professional licensing. On the other hand, we do bring opportunities for realtors in the country to be able to get licensing in terms of, for example, the Certified International Property Specialist designation. We actually had brought the class here, an instructor here, and CRGAR has an affiliation with NAR, with the National Association of Realtors. So, again, there are professional affiliations here. It's just that the licensing is still not something that is truly mandatory. But we're getting there.
How do property taxes work in Costa Rica? Are they similar to what we have here in the States, where you have annual property taxes?
But yeah, we basically pay once a year. Property taxes here are very, very low. They're basically 1/4% of the registered value. So, for example, if you buy a house for $300,000, then your taxes will most likely be $750 per year or less, depending on what the registered value is. So that kind of gives you an idea. We also have another tax, but it's more for the luxury segment. That's another tax that honestly doesn't really apply to the majority of my buyers, but you can always bet at least 1/4 of 1% of the registered value.
Now, Rebecca, now that we got a background on yourself and Costa Rican real estate and practices and customs, let's talk a little bit more about some opportunities for people in the States to invest in real estate and how you can help them. Tell me a little bit more about your real estate company and the areas that you specialize in.
Sure thing. Well, Blue Water Properties of Costa Rica has 4 offices. We're located in Guanacaste, which is the northwest region of Costa Rica, and our closest airport is the Liberia International Airport, which is just under an hour away. Our beach areas, we basically cover about an hour of coastline from Hacienda Pinilla, Tamarindo area, north, Playa Grande, Flamingo, Potrero, Donta, Duntita, all the way up to Coco Hermoso. So we cover quite a wide range of coastal properties.
And I take it you have many listings and you also handle buyer representation as well?
That's correct. Yeah, we have a couple MLS type systems. We don't have one general MLS that everybody's on. There's a couple different ones that we use. So on our website, you're able to see many great listings, and we cooperate with all other brokers in the area to be able to bring the best product to our client.
Now, I see you also have a Costa Rican tour company. Tell me a little bit more about that.
We do. Well, when the company started, we had clients asking us, well, you sold me a house, you sold me a condo. Who's going to manage it? Can you manage it? And so I thought, well, how hard can it be? So we started managing properties. We started with 2. And obviously, as time has gone by, we have about 50 now in 5 different beach areas. And our business partner that runs the office in Playa Negra has about a dozen. So we have a lot of beachfront, ocean view, condos and homes, and 5 or 6 different beach areas. That's how that started. And so with the tour company, the need comes out of the property management side, where clients coming, they're now renting your house. Well, they need airport transfers. They want to go see the volcano. They want to go do a zip line. They want to go see a waterfall. Well, all those things are kind of, one-stop shop. And the necessity for the travel agency grew out of the property management side. So we basically, handle 3 different types of businesses in one place, which really helps out the client. It just takes all the guesswork out of it.
Rebecca, this is Stella Giudicelli from Coldwell Banker. Hi. I'm curious about what is the average or maybe the best return on investment that investor can expect when investing with you in Costa Rica?
You mean in terms of return on investment percentages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
With a tenant, putting a tenant in there and...
Yeah, I mean the best property to honestly buy is either a house or a condo near the beach, and that's going to be the key point. Is any property you ever want to buy, the closer to the beach, and specifically if you can buy a property within, let's say, 200 to 400 meters from the beach, that's where you're going to have your best return on investment. Of course, if you have an ocean view, those properties tend to not only be easier to rent out, but you can also fetch more money for them on the resale side. So all of those things are important aspects. With our 50 houses over the course of the last 8 years, we've been able to have a lot of good data, and basically what we see that does the best are homes with ocean view or that within a couple hundred yards of the beach, condominiums that are within, again, a couple hundred yards of the beach, and also specifically within a resort community, which we have a few different golf and resort communities that have condos within them and homes within them. And those, generally speaking, do very well also on the rental and resale side.
Now, Rebecca, I got to wrap up the interview here as we're coming to the bottom of the hour. But, in closing, tell me a little bit more about why, we should be buying Costa Rican real estate, and give out the contact information for the audience so they could get in touch with you if they have any Costa Rican demands for real estate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, basically what I tell people is that Costa Rica is a really magical place. It has beautiful weather, great people. It's a stable area to buy. Your investment is safe here. You're going to buy something and know that it's still going to be there when you come back. And you have trusted individuals on this side that can take care of everything for you and taking all the guesswork out of it. But if you're looking for good return on investment in a place where you can come and enjoy your investment and stay in your condo or your home a few weeks or months out of the year and rent it out the rest of the time for positive cash flow, and then you definitely should be looking into Costa Rica. The logistics of getting here, especially from Florida.
And Rebecca, real quick, before we get cut off here, what's your phone number?
Sure. It's 1-866-670-0258, or my local Tampa number, 813-579-3350.
Rebecca, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a great interview. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.